join in. Hi, good morning, everyone, and good evening, wherever else it is. Good evening. I'm just letting my Facebook load, and once we switch off the volume of the Facebook, I will go live. I'll start talking to my guest. And all right. Hi, good evening, everyone, and good morning from India. Um, we have a very beautiful person here, and she's I've been watching her. She's been part of a group I was, and I've been watching her, supporting the group, showing up, with all her smiles. And I wanted to reach out to her. We were in a breakout room. We spoke. We connected, and I'm bringing her here because she's a very special person. We have Elizabeth here. She's a healer, and she is a forgiveness coach. She has a course coming up on forgiveness, and that's very, very beautiful. And she's also a mom. So we're going to talk about her being a mom, the self-portrait movement, and then move on to talking about her dreams. Welcome, Elizabeth. Let's introduce yourself, Elizabeth. Why don't you talk about yourself and your journey till here?
Okay, thank you again for having me. I'm so happy and very proud to be part of your wonderful program. It's just what you are accomplishing, what you are doing by bringing so many wonderful women together and having their stories being told is just amazing. So the fact that you considered me to be part of it again, thank you so much. I
It's
feel
a
so
pleasure.
grateful.
It's a pleasure, Elizabeth.
Thank you. So yes, I am a forgiveness coach and an energy healer. And how I see my journey with all of this is I like to work with people and have the people see what you have inside of you. When I call myself a healer, it's nothing that I do, to you. It's what I have you see inside of yourself, because we all have the answers. We all have the gifts that we need in order for us to be the people that we want to be. And the big thing about forgiveness, and this is one thing that really I'm very passionate about, especially this year with COVID and everything that's going on. And so many people are really starting to dig in deep and see what's going on with themselves and their family and the world, is that what people don't realize is that anytime you hold any kind of resentment and you don't forgive something that happened in the past, you're stuck.
Yeah.
You can't grow. You can't
Yeah.
even live in the present. You're just stuck right back at that incident or whatever happened to you in the past. And one thing too that I've heard several times, and I know I've heard it from actually Tony Robbins, is that people don't realize that when you forgive someone, you're giving yourself the gift. You're
Absolutely.
not giving the gift to the other person,
Yeah.
because your gift is you're breaking that tie, you're breaking that cord that has you held to that person. And again too, again, a Tony Robbins thing is that he says, what if life happens for us, not happen to us? What if life really does happen for us?
It
And
does.
that means all those pain, all that hurt, all those things that happened to us in the past, that happened to make you, me, all of us, that wonderful person that we are today.
Yeah.
That if that didn't happen,
Sure.
what kind of person would you be today?
Right.
And by having people see that, I think is a huge gift for them to be able to go on and to again go into the future, live into the present.
Yes, and so let's hear about your journey as well, Elizabeth. What's been your journey till here?
Okay. Well, it's been a long journey. I have been married before, and unfortunately, it was an abusive marriage, and it did not work. Thankfully, I was able to get myself out of the marriage. And we talk about forgiveness, and it took me a long time, to forgive um, that situation. But once I did, I was able to go on with my life. I was able to see that I have gifts of healing, gifts of working with people, gifts of having people see what's inside of them. So I worked on myself first, and I had these gifts. I worked with them and I had them grow and to really mature. And then I started working with different groups of women who had been in similar situations that I was in as well, and to help them. And then I went on and I said, I really want to be able to write a book. I want to get more to people. And actually, I was a co-author last year in a book. It was called The Art of Unlearning, Volume 4, which became an international bestseller
Oh,
on
congratulations.
Amazon. Thank you. Thank you. And in that was a group of wonderful women, all of us telling our story about how we got to where we are today. And I felt so empowered because I was able to reach so many more people. And then as I kept going, I said, no, I want to reach even more people. How can I do this? So I
Yeah.
want to do a course online. And then while all of this was weaving and going through, then I met my husband that I'm married to. We got married last year. And
Congratulations. And
thank
that's
you.
beautiful.
Thank you. And he's such a sweetheart, and he has kids, and he has a daughter that lives with us. So she's my wonderful stepdaughter, and she has some physical and mental issues, which when I met her, oh my gosh, 6, 7 years ago, I just fell in love with her. She's just such a sweetheart. She's so innocent, and I just literally, physically, emotionally, and spiritually just wrapped my arms around her. And that was one of the things that my husband now said to me. I have this mentally and physically disabled daughter. And I said, yeah, I know. And I'm coming into this, eyes wide open. And I feel like she's mine. I unfortunately was not able to have my own children. Um, and so
That's beautiful.
she's priceless. And
Yeah,
and
I'm
so
sure. I'm sure.
I'm sorry.
It, I said I'm sure it's because it shows on your face that she's priceless for you.
Oh, thank you.
Uh,
Yeah, and what I love is, about being a stepmom is that, you know, I got to choose her. I got to accept her as, as who she is and what she is. And um, I had a choice. And
Absolutely.
and my choice was no, I love her. She's just like I said, this little innocent person that wouldn't hurt a fly. And so yeah, so it's just been a wonderful, like I said, I've known her for 7 years, and we get along really, really, really well. And it's just been a great year, being married and having her in my life, and having him, of course, having my husband in my life,
Of
but
course.
having Linda, her name is Linda, having Linda in my life as well.
Yeah, and I'm just telling the audience that Elizabeth asked me that, does it qualify? Am I a mom if I have a stepdaughter? And I think your stepdaughter is 50 years old now. Is she? Yeah.
Yes.
And she's like, am I qualified to be a mom in your book? I'm like, if you're not, then who is? If you're not, then who is? Because this kind of embracing, this kind of acceptance, this kind of love, this kind of connection, only a mother's heart can have. So you're a mom for sure, and it's an honor to have you on the book, in the book series here with interviews. And you were talking about forgiveness, and as we're going to move on to this interview, we're going to talk about forgiveness. and we have Debbie here supporting us. We have uh, and we have, I don't know, I always keep pronouncing her name, um, Brush. Anyway, she knows I'm going to pronounce her name. It always gets stuck. It becomes a stuck. But I know who I'm talking about. But you're getting into forgiveness, and you were talking about forgiveness. And the fact is that even in this book, what we are doing is we are forgiving ourselves, uh, and we're totally, encouraging mothers to forgive the fact that they are missing and now start showing up. It's not too late. It doesn't matter what age you are in. It doesn't matter where you've reached. Wherever you are, I think forgive the fact that whatever has happened, whatever we've done to ourselves, whatever hiding that we've been doing, we all are trying to forgive that, in a way, and then move forward. So that's why I was loving the fact that you were saying that when you do not forgive, you are stuck, you know. And I've got a new thing to carry on from here, from this interview, is that we need to forgive. Like, if last 8 years I have not shown up, it's okay. Rather than sitting and saying, what a waste, what are we going to do? We need to forgive ourselves and say, we didn't know better, or we were stuck. And I think when we come out of that space and then start showing up, like in this book, um, it's also part of forgiving and then moving forward. So I like that angle that you were just talking about forgiveness, and all I was just saying was this is all forgiveness that we are doing. That we've not shown, like, we're not showing up for ourselves, we're not taking care of ourselves. And just before this interview, we were talking that, and we were discussing that it's not about comparing ourselves to some Vogue magazine or a
Mhm.
model. It's comparing ourselves with our old selves that we thought was happier, was better, was lively, would have, come in pictures very easily. It's that comparison that is. So, do you want to talk about that while I take a glass sip of water?
Okay. Yes. Again, if
Sorry.
if you look at yourself, if you find a picture of yourself, and we were talking about this earlier, if you find a picture of yourself where you look really happy, why why were you that happy then and you're not now?
Yeah.
But when you do that, when you find out it's maybe whatever the reason is that you were happier then,
Yeah.
I can guarantee part of it will be because back then you accepted yourself for who and what you were.
Right.
And then if you look at yourself back then, now you have to look at yourself with an open heart and open arms and not say, gee, if I had done only whatever, I would be happy now. When you
Right.
do that,
Right.
you're putting yourself down, and you shouldn't do that because you need to forgive yourself from
Yeah.
for doing that.
Yeah.
And that is what will show on your face now. When you look at that picture and you go, oh, only if,
Yeah.
then immediately you're holding a grudge, or you're second guessing yourself, or you're
Yeah.
doing something. But if you applaud that person, if you look at that person who is you, and you say, wow, she is really happy in that picture.
Yeah.
And that picture, that person is me. And that person of 10 years ago, 15 years ago, whatever it is, she still exists
Yeah.
inside of you.
Right.
So if she's still inside of you, then you still have that happy person there that you can pull out and take care of yourself and give yourself that love and that necessary care that you deserve and that you need as well.
Yeah. And I think what's missing now in today's world, Elizabeth, is earlier we used to, have these albums and pictures. We could go back to it. I think we're just moving forward. We're just rolling all the time, just moving next, next, next thing. We're not stopping. We're not halting. We're not seeing. We're not understanding. And the fact that you know, we are not like the it's just not, it's just the chatter is not all about um you know, I don't look nice pictures, or I don't like pictures, or I hate photography, because I've already proven it with many conversations that you can keep saying whatever, like you can keep saying that you don't like pictures of yourself and you don't like photography and it's just a shallow thing. But if I actually gifted you a picture of yourself in which you looked like a queen and a gorgeous woman, there is no way you're going to tear it and put it in the dustbin. You are going to embrace it. You're going to pick it up, put it on the wall, go and show it to the world that look at this, what a, like this is me, and so there, that's all the stuff that we keep telling ourselves. Oh, what's about picture? It's all about moments. But we love seeing ourselves. Pictures do show us. We love seeing ourselves beautifully. It's just that we stop seeing that, and then we keep seeing that person appear again and again and again and again in the picture, and we just say, "Nah, she's not nice. She's not good. It's not okay. It's not fine." And then that person keeps bothering us, and then we come up with these, which I keep calling resistance and chatters, saying, I don't like pictures. It's about living the moment. It's about doing, we come up with so many excuses and we slowly just move away from the camera and keep missing. And that's what we're trying to figure out here. That what if you actually take your worst picture and look at her and figure out few things? And few things also mean figure out, is this bad person here that we are criticizing so much, could it be a bad angle? That's it?
Mhm.
Or could it be just a bad light? Or could it be just that we're not taking care of ourselves? Or could it be just, the camera quality is horrible that it's catching up all the pixels and grains and it's making our skin look bad? There's so many factors that before you label yourself that I'm not good looking, I'm not photogenic, I'm not nice, I don't look great, before putting so many labels, like just stop and see why that picture is not nice. If the reason
Mhm.
it's this bad angle and photograph, fine, just accept it and move forward and say, next time there'll be a better angle and there'll be a better picture and I'll make sure that I don't take it from this angle. If it's you, then make sure that you wake up and start saying, I need to start going for a walk, I need to start taking care of my health, I need to start loving myself, I need to start showing up, I need to start blooming, I need to start lighting up. So if you do that, I can guarantee that no makeup needed, no nothing needed. You will be shining no matter what position you are, and you'll start loving yourself because you'll start seeing that love that is totally missing for ourselves, and that's what shows. And our whole whole action of rejecting our pictures and criticizing our pictures is just a proof that we are just hating and we are being too lazy to try and fix sometimes with what we see. And I know that situations are tough where people go through a lot and they just don't have the time. But photography is a beautiful way to show the time to rise, time to wake up. What
Mhm.
way you're going is not the right way, and you have the right to deserve and shine. And the day you can start shining in your pictures and you started complimenting on your own pictures, I think is the day you've achieved a lot of self confidence, self love, and a lot of life back. So that's what I feel. As healer, you've been working with people. What do you feel? You know, what's the pulse with mothers? You must have worked with a lot of mothers. What is the pulse with mothers? Then why do mothers specifically go through this? You the mother's chatter is totally different and it's very common throughout. So have you come across in your healing processes a chatter of a mother?
As a mother, when I work with mothers and I see what they're going through, I see a lot of mothers that just give of themselves. They put themselves last. They don't take care of themselves because they feel that it's selfish for them to do that, and that they need to work with their kids, or with their whole family. And what I see is that they neglect themselves at the sake of taking care of their family. And so when I bring that up to them, when I show them that, you have to heal yourself first. If you keep putting yourself last, if you keep putting yourself at the end of the line, then when something happens, you're not going to have any energy. You're not going to have anything left because you've given it all out. And as a nurturing mother, as a mother who has the love and has the care and the concern for her family, she wants to give all of that. And she just depletes herself. So what I do with the mothers is I help them to see this. Then I help them to grow in themselves and learn that, you know, back before you used to put yourself first. And that's a good thing. That's not being selfish. That's what you have to do now in order to have the strength that you need to take care of your kids and your husband. And so with the journey that I've been on, working with other mothers, and I would love to work more too with more stepmothers and have us all just realize that we're all just the same. You know, whether you're an adoptive mother or a natural birth mother or a stepmother, we all have the same desires. We all have the same responsibilities for these kids, and we need to take care of ourselves first too, so that, like you said, you know, people in pictures, you can see whether or not they've been taking care of themselves, what mood they're in. And I think that for a lot of people, they feel vulnerable
Yeah.
because they don't want people to be able to see behind that screen that they
Right.
put up.
Right. And it's amazing that you're my 29th mom. And before this, many moms I've spoken to. I think everybody I ask this question, what happens to mothers? Why I keep asking this question again and again is because the answer just keeps coming the same. It's the same answer with, like, every mom has given me the same answer, that she puts herself behind, that she puts herself at the end of the line, and there's no self love and there's no self care, and they feel guilty of putting themselves in front because they are mothers. And now that you've said about stepmothers, I think this, I started reading this series, the classic series, to my son, and I just stopped reading it because I was just like, no wonder people have, it's like so many judgments because of these series of olden times of Red Riding Hood times, that the stepmother is not a good mother. Stepmother was always bad to people. If stepmother threw the children out of the house. I'm like, what? I didn't read him the classics because it's very good to read classics, but I kept on finding, in fact, a very interesting story about the the Beanstalk one, the Jack and the Bean. I think was it? What's
Yep,
that book?
Jack and the Beanstalk.
Yeah, Jack and the Beanstalk. And us raised ourselves with that book. And my son, I was reading him that book, and he's like, "But he's a thief. Why is Jack being, the hero? But he's a thief, and that's the right. The giant was doing nothing to him. It's him who went to, go up. And in the end, when it says they lived happily ever after cutting the tree, but he kept on saying, but he's the thief. And why did he live happily ever after? He's the one who was stealing everything from that giant. Just because he was a giant, he became a bad person, that he could, steal the eggs and steal the hen and steal everything, or the duck, or everything. And that was such a great, thing. I was thinking that he's right. End of the day, like, these are the stories that we are passing on, and putting those pressures as well onto ourselves. We are a stepmom, we are this, or we are giants, or we are, uh, so, like, so much happens, and these chatters are all part of that as well. Because
Mm.
as you're a stepmom today, even, like, even if we're in the modern times today, everybody says, I'm a stepmom. And then you do have this chatter going on. Nobody should think this because I'm a stepmom, I am not taking care of my child, I'm not nice to my child, I'm not. So this happens because of those chatters that have been put, in the childhood on us. And it was okay to read those stories. And I was just like, yes, I think Jack was a bad guy. Like, he should have been stealing. He was a thief. And his mother should have not been celebrating the fact that he was stealing from a giant just because he's a giant, you know? So can you
Yeah.
imagine the chatters come down from generations and generations? And I also, like, recently people have been asking me, do you believe in regression therapy, etc.? So I really don't, but I have to put some logic to it. And um, I might be okay to take a regression session now, only because I feel that a gene, like for me, logic like is coming that a gene is carrying a lot of memory, right? So
Hmm.
it's also carrying a lot of stress. And if I don't solve that stress now, I will pass it on to the next generation. I've already passed it, I think. I've had my two children, no more coming. But at least I can resolve it in them today that they don't pass those stresses further. And so it's becoming a deeper and deeper project. Every like this conversation I'm doing with you is the first time I'm doing it, but I'm realizing that it's not about like immediately looking bad. Immediately, there's so many things that go into our head, and I think in the end, meditation is trying to achieve that, to stop this chatter. Meditation is trying to, until now, people have not understood what meditation is trying to do. But this, exactly this chatter, I am a stepmom. Will I be judged because I'm not taking care of my child? Or, maybe I don't know her pulse because, or I'm a godmom to so many people. I've adopted a, child. Do I feel the same? My God, there's so much that people go through and not said obviously to them, but they've picked it up on their way of growing up and talking and conversations and books and other influences. And now sitting heavily with it. And then the beautiful part about this project is a camera makes us realize that we are sitting so heavily on so much chatter, which is unnecessarily there.
Hmm.
It's just doesn't, it's not needed. So when you're saying that, it just came up to me when you said, "Oh, I want to work with stepmoms," and I'm like, what happens? I'm sure they go through their stresses because uh, this whole thing is also a chatter that's coming down from these silly tales as well. You
Yeah,
know,
and even just the title, stepmom, stepmother. I
I
mean,
know.
I I might Google it at some point, but what does that mean, stepmom? I mean, a step. Am I
Let's
going to
Google it.
step on her? I mean, what is a
I'm
stepmom?
going. I'm going to just Google the meaning of stepmom right now. I'm a spontaneous person. I'm
it,
going to do
it,
this.
yeah, and it just to me too, it's almost saying, well, you're not really her mother,
Yeah.
so you can't be as good as her, so you're just a stepmother. And I don't like that title, but in this instance, because honestly, our ages are so close. If I said I'm her mother, people might look at me like, what were you, 5 years old when you had her?
Yeah.
I mean, it's just,
And
but I do say that I'm her mother.
yeah, and it says the woman who is married to someone's father but who is not their real mother. So they've said the real mother. So this is an interesting addition to our book, and this needs to also go out to you as a message that you know mother is a very 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 broad and a big term, and we should not put ourselves down constantly um, with these judgments and these chatters and these things. I think something to realize today that, and I realize it in this conversation that my God, this chatter stuff is not only since you become a mother, it comes down to so many things, and that's a realization, Elizabeth. So thank you for this interview. We
You're
must,
welcome.
we must, we must stop this whole thing about you know making, actually, maybe I should do a book someday on the stepmoms and get the stories out of stepmothers who have adopted kids whose real mothers have left them and gone.
Yeah, that would be awesome.
Yeah,
That'd be awesome.
that
But
would be
I want
another
to say
thing.
too, like, and what happens too is you're talking about, generational, and yeah, and there is something that's called cellular memory. And so we pick up on things that our parents, grandparents, generations, and it's passed on from generation to the next generation through ourselves, because we are part of each one of those generations. We have some of those people part of us. And like you said, through meditation, or, through hypnosis, which is something else that I work with,
Yeah,
I'm able to help these people in hypnosis see what this is that they're carrying with them that they don't want anymore, that they want to cut the cords, that they want to acknowledge it and say, no, I don't want to carry this with me anymore, and and let it go.
Yeah, and that's very important work. And yeah, and I'm glad this book is coming up and shaping up. I have almost 71 more mothers to go for. I don't know what all will I learn, but I just know that totally, I totally feel very, very healed and very blessed that I'm getting to speak to this part of mothers that is so important. And I feel that I've actually blessed to be chosen to bring this out, because I think if this particular part is solved and mothers start dropping this, we will not pass it on, and we will live one life that's given to us in the most beautiful way, in connection, in appreciation, in living, in creating. And then our children will look at it, and hopefully the world should start going backwards again,
Hmm.
rather than moving in the direction we are moving with so much stress. And maybe again, only a mother is needed or a parent is needed to heal your child, and not that parents keep saying that, like I say it, oh my god, how do I deal with this and how do I deal, because we feel not so equipped, because we don't have the space.
Yeah.
And that space will be created with this chatter going down, with loving ourselves, with bringing light back. How is it possible that we can't solve a situation with our child? And a pediatrician told me once that the day you become a mother, you actually, he was amazing. He's three generations of pediatrics, and he said, the day you become a mother, an encyclopedia is downloaded onto you of exactly what to do in life. And it happens in nature as well. So no mother needs to be told what to do. And it doesn't matter that you become a mother with a child now, Elizabeth, or I've become a mother, 8 years back. But the day you become a mother, you exactly know, when you embrace motherhood, you exactly know what to do, and you've seen it in nature. And no books are needed, no interviews are needed to tell them what to do. They just know what to do, where to save, how to keep them away, how to raise them confidently, how to release them. So I think if this mother work is solved, I think a lot of things will be solved in this world, and solutions will come from mothers again, and not being relied on whatever solution we're trying to give to so many
Yeah.
problems. So, what's your
Yeah.
dream, Elizabeth? What's your dream? Let's go on to
Oh,
your dream before we wrap up the interview.
oh, honestly, my dream is to be able to reach again as many people as I can, and have them be able to walk their walk and talk their talk and walk their talk, and not feel, I was like, if I said that all right, and not feel hindered or hampered in any way, so that people feel that they can be who they are. And I want to be able to have people bring that out in them. And I mean, like, my vision really is I see all these people, men, women, children, just living happy, fulfilled lives because they've accepted themselves as who they are, and they're not putting up any facades, or they're not trying to be who other people think they should be. And that's my dream, is to be able to start that, and to keep it rolling, so that, like you're saying, basically we're going back in time, not forward in time, and to have the same, ethics and morals that we had, and acceptance of everybody, and
Yeah.
um,
And it's
peace and love.
instincts. We are meant to have the instincts to know what to do, and we are meant to have instincts to save ourselves as well, and to protect ourselves, and to live life fully. So if we go back to those instincts, it would be gorgeous. And uh, as usual, our interview, I always tell this, that I will take my pillar's name every time in the interview. The reason I'm going to do that is because their support has been very, very cherished by me, and um, they like I'm letting people know that these pillars. It's not that there's some money coming to them, or they're sitting here trying to do, something because they're going to gain something. They are here to support this movement, not me in particular, because they feel the pulse, and that's why I always want to thank them. So I want to thank Debbie, I want to thank Francis, I want to thank Kirtana, Kavita, and who am I forgetting? There are five of us, and Melanie, as the pillars for this movement. They are doing everything that they can to help mothers to bring this, because I can't do it alone. I possibly can't be speaking to 100 moms. So they are going to be having in groups, taking these moms to a point where I can get their pictures, we can lay the pictures down, and we can have the book out. And I would love to put, is your book available on Amazon, Elizabeth?
I'm sorry?
Is your book available on
I-
Amazon?
Yes,
Yeah.
the
So
book,
send me the
the,
link. I will put it on your interview, and maybe we can read that book as well.
okay, I would
Um,
love to.
yeah. Thank you
Yeah.
so much for coming here, Elizabeth. You're just a
Oh,
beautiful soul, and I hope this book adds more to your life, like it will to many moms in this book, and the ones who are going to hold this book once this book is out. Thank you so much, and I wish
oh,
you the
thank
best.
you. And thank you again for what you're doing because it is so needed, especially now. So thank you for listening to your call and completing this journey.
Thank you, Elizabeth. Don't go
Thank
off. I'm going to go live. Debbie's been here supporting us. Um, yes, there's so many comments you can go back and read, and I'm sure other ones are going to come as well. And just letting people know who will see it, even Elizabeth, you just go and activate seeing my lives. So every time I go live, you will see a pop up coming up. Somebody recently told me that you have to activate the light for me. If you need any help, I can send you a design she's made for it, because I think we need more and more support for all the mothers to come up so that this movement can reach its peak. At least the 100 moms who are together. I don't know about more moms coming in, but these 100 can support each other in interviews, because it's beautiful to see those, go back, see these interviews, and support these mothers and make them feel already uplifted, even if the book
you.
is not out yet. So, thank you so much, everyone. I'm going to go off live stream. Bye, Debbie.